important is this thing called link building, and if Google finds out that you're doing some types of building link farms and all that, it could have potentially a detrimental effect on your search ranking. So I think we're going to hear from Dan a little bit further on this, and quite keen to hear your insights on this, because I know certainly it's something that we're looking at the moment, so keen to understand more. Welcome.
Thank you. Hi everyone, I'm Dan from Dejan SEO. Today we'll be talking about link building strategies for small businesses. This session will be quite practical and with lots of tips and examples. So if you want to take those notepads and pens out, there will be a lot of things to write down. So I'm just going to get started. The topics we'll be covering today is, very quickly, how do search engines sort their results? What is the role of links, and practical link building ideas? First of all, search engines look at two factors, relevance and importance. And those two break down into their own subsections. Some of these have already been nicely covered in previous sessions. In fact, I'm going to elaborate on some of those a little bit further. For example, if we're searching in Google for gifts, Google wants to give us results that are gift related. And that is the primary premise of search engines. They want to provide results that are useful. Now we've got 300 million results for gifts, and that's sorting. Some results are number 1, some results are number 10. There's the second, third, and the 10th page of results. That sorting algorithm is the interesting part. So first of all, we have the relevance. So relevance is, why should Google put you in the results for gifts, for example? So from technical aspects, we've got how search engines read your website. It's accessibility, what's in your content, how is your content generated, is it all in Flash, is it in text, how you combine your media, and for example, one tag that's in particularly quite strong is the title tag of the website. And a lot of people will be talking about alt text and content and this and that. Really, like if you want your website to rank for something, if it's not in your title tag, you're missing a lot. So that's probably the single the heaviest factor in fact when it comes to on-site optimization. In terms of your content, how do search engines interpret your content? So be careful when you're writing for your website. If you use industry jargon that nobody's searching for, in fact, you might be calling your product differently. For example, banks. Take banks. They call their accounts and credit cards, they call them products. For us, they're not products, but that's a credit card, that's a bank account. And of course, performing your phrase research thoroughly before you start link building campaign. If you're doing all this hard work and you're not focusing on the right search terms, you're wasting your time and money.
The website theatre is located at the front of Hall 3.
Okay, so to the importance factor now, reputation and trust and context. So we're talking about links now. Who links to your website? Is it better to get a link from your friend's blog, or is it better to get a link from eBay? eBay is a bigger website, so yes, we should get a link from there rather than from a small, insignificant website. Don't discriminate, every link counts, but there are varying degrees of value in there. And then finally, context. How are the links to you? Linked to you? Is it the content type or the link type? What is in the anchor text? Does everyone know what anchor text means? Yes? No? Yep. A few nodding heads there. Okay, so anchor text is essentially that hyperlink part that leads to your website. What you put in there matters. So what does this all mean? Search engines actually look at your links to judge your website. They'll be looking at who you link out to, who's linking to you, and how does that whole linking environment interact. Based on that, that's one of the most single important factors in the search engine rankings. Once you've done your on-site and content and everything is great, that's the next step. So in this session, what we're going to be covering is how to get links and give some nice ideas on how to get you started in the whole process. First of all, let's look at the link anatomy. So if we have a look at the code at the top, that's a typical link structure, and we've got the anchor text there. That's the little underlined part, and you click on that and you go to the website. So in this situation, we've got site A linking to site B, and essentially that link passes some of what we call link juice in the SEO industry, essentially passing some reputation, some relevance or page rank to the site B. The voting system is actually not equal, which means that a stronger website will pass more relevance and more strength to your website rather than a small and insignificant website. And of course, the anchor text matters a lot. Rather than having people link to you through click here, you should have them link to you through what you do. So in this diagram, we illustrate how a smaller website passes a little bit less link juice than the bigger website. Let's assume that's your site, the site B. Site A might be your friend's website, and site C might be a big industry website or organization that carries a lot of reputation. Another thing to consider when you're getting links to your website, make sure that the page that your link is located on is not linking out to hundreds of other websites. The actual link power is actually split up between the number of outgoing links. So if you're among 1, 2 or 3 links on that same page, you're getting a lot of that link juice. But if you're one of the 100 links, you're only getting a small fragment of that power. Another thing to keep an eye on is the nofollow tags. Nofollow tag is a device invented by search engines to prevent web spam. Webmasters have noticed that the links actually influence rankings. They started buying links, spamming blog comments and things like that. So they implemented this device called rel equals nofollow.
Thank you.
If your link is included with that element in it, it will not pass any voting rights to your website. It will not give it any link juice. So if you're trying to work hard and to get a link from someplace, and if the only way you're going to get that link, it's good because you're going to get traffic. If it's going to improve your rankings, no. Another thing to keep an eye on is the actual rel nofollow might not always be in the link itself. It might be placed in the meta tag or in the robots txt file. So how to get good links, that's what we all want to find out. So before you go anywhere else, have a look at your existing links. This doesn't work if you're a new website, but if you're a website that's been running for a little while, you want to have a look at your existing backlinks and ask yourself a few questions. Why did these people link to me? So that's quite an important thing. So it was mentioned before that everyone should be in the Google Webmasters tools. The link is there on the slide, so google.com/webmasters/tools. Sign up for an account. If you have Gmail, you'll be able to link that with your account. And in this tool, you'll be able to find out a lot more information about your website than you currently understand. This is what it looks like when you go inside. In the section, your site on the web, there's a section called links to your site. And what it does is just links all the websites that are linking to you, and not just that, but also linking to each subpage of your website. That gives you an enormous power and understanding of how your website is seen by others and why would they link to you. So for example, if we go and click on one of these pages, we can discover, oh look, we've got a government link. How good is that? Because government websites are trusted. They're not going to put spam on their website. So Google likes to see that association there, and that'll help your rankings. You wouldn't have realized that was happening unless you used this tool, because search engines, especially Google, only show the random sample. If you do the link column command for your website, it will not show you all the links. It's only a random amount of links that are pointed to your site. So discovering this content can do a lot of good things. In fact, you might find a link that you can even fix to make it more effective. We'll talk about that a little bit later. Another section you should visit is the anchor text. Anchor text is essentially which words are people using or choosing to use when linking to your website. Are they saying click here, or are they saying Bob, or they're saying institute? We want to rank for institute, or do we want to rank for, look at number 9, it says read more. That's not a very good link. It's not hinting to Google as to what we are about. Whereas number 2, institute, that's a bit of a better phrase. What you put in anchor text and what you encourage others to link to your website will affect your rankings quite tremendously. It's sort of on the level of title tag when it comes to on-site optimization. There you go. Why did these people link to me? Find out what are the content pages that actually earn links, and then do some more of that, because that type of content is appreciated by the online community. This will help you find new link ideas, in fact, and even form, outside of the SEO, form new alliances and partnerships. You can fix wrong links. Another thing that you can do using the link command or Yahoo tools is just have a look at your competitor and see who links to them. You can even combine, using some tools, combine the data from Yahoo, Bing and Google, and combine into one big list and learn about your competitors. Where did they get a link? If they got a link from some industry association that you belong to, surely you can get a link from there as well. Try to understand how strong they are, discover new link opportunities, and get a realistic understanding as where you sit in the market. If they're way ahead of you, you should understand that. It's powerful knowledge. Now, one thing that I like a lot is links that are self-generating. A lot of people are saying, write good content and links will come. Sometimes you need to encourage people to link to you, but one of the best things is to create devices on your website that will just continuously earn links. So you're sitting doing your business and the links are happening on their own. That's the best way to get links. So, encouraging devices. Link to our stage. A lot of websites just don't have that. It's not much effort. Putting some code that people can copy and paste and put it in their blog, put it in their Facebook. Little banners, little widgets and things like that. They might be already on your website wanting to link to it, and it's just too hard. They just go away, I'll do it later. If they've got a bit of code that they can easily copy and paste, they'll do that more likely. Another benefit of this method is that now you're taking charge of how people will link to you, not only if they will link to you. So now you can put the phrase that you want to link to your website in that code, and that's the anchor text now. Use social media to share content that you have. Using social media just to spam is not going to work. Social media is a different space. People will react really well if you have useful and good content. So if you have a new product that's really interesting, use Twitter or Facebook and spread the word. Another way of getting good links is providing people with useful tools, templates. For example, printing companies, they provide little business card templates and brochure templates. People download that, use that, and some webmasters might even go, oh, that's useful because I'm going to link to it because it's useful research to others. Link bait material. One of our clients, they do men's clothing, and one of the most effective link bait strategies for them. What is a link bait? Link bait is essentially a page or a piece of content that you publish on your website. It's a link magnet. So theirs was how to do up your tie. I don't know how to do it because I never wear a tie. And there's a lot of people who don't know how to do it, amazingly, but it's true. So they posted that image on their website. You would not believe how many links they got. It took them, half a day to get the designer to come up with the little sketches, uploaded on the website, links galore. Brilliant. So think about these little devices that can earn you links as you go. Here's some easy ones. You want to be in directories. Pay attention to the high quality ones or industry related directories. So the Moz, Yahoo, Best of the Web, and so forth. You can do some PR work and earn links at the same time, or write articles about news and about your business and publish them into article hosting websites. Some of them are PR Web, Easy articles. Newsmaker in Australia, quite effective. Joining industry associations. For example, we're a member of the Australian Interactive Multimedia Industry Association. So as part of our membership page, you're getting a link from that page. It's quite a valuable and relevant link because we do a lot of multimedia, especially in the viral marketing industry and link baiting. Profile pages such as LinkedIn, although LinkedIn has recently introduced a no-follow tag, but profile pages like that will give you a good link and perfectly good reason to have a link from that. Blogging and social media participation is always good. Become an expert in the industry and some links. Some tips when you're trying to send out article content out there to earn links back to your website. Don't be lazy. Don't just write one article and submit it to 100 article websites. Try to write a few articles and submit it to each individual place. What happens if you submit the same article on all these places? You're getting duplicate content on all these websites. You're getting a link from a duplicate content page. If you're already doing the hard work and organizing the placements, then put in some effort into creating original content and get links from original pieces of content. If you're doing directory submissions, there are companies that are offering to submit your website to thousands and thousands of directories. One has to ask, the question: can all these directories be of a high quality? Probably not. So don't waste your time on things that are not effective, and focus on quality rather than quantity. Here's some really good link building ideas. Work with non-competing businesses. For example, a lawyer in Sydney and a lawyer in Melbourne may have some sort of business partnership going on, cross-referral of clients. They could publish articles on each other's websites to explain about that relationship and link back to each other's website. That is not the classic example of reciprocal linking. Google doesn't like to see, I link to you, you link to me, happy days. They notice that relationship and they're putting a dampening effect. If you're purposely creating a link from a links page to one side, a link from another links page to another side, that can cause a dampening effect in the value of the link. So another example is hotel booking service can link with tour guides. Hosted content or functionality is a great way to get links from unique content, and avoid places like links_9, links resources _20. You can see that they've got a lot of links on the links pages, so that's not a very effective way to get it. Think about who are your business partners and what are your business alliances. Getting links from them is very, very effective. Who are your suppliers of products and services? If you're retailing, if you have a wholesaler, can the wholesaler link to you? Everyone, almost everyone has had a web design company work on their site. Why don't you contact them and get them to link to you from the profile or the portfolio page of their website? Web design companies have a huge amount of reputation because they mostly get people to link to them through the footer. So they get an enormous amount of power they can send off to you. Think about even more unusual ideas. Office space. If you're renting a small office space in a building that's a large complex, they may have a website, and you might end up in their tenant directory. That's a place to get a link from. So just think outside the square, and all these ideas will fall into place, and you'll start getting really natural and good-looking links. Once you get those links, your rankings will really, really soar. If you're working with customers, if you're retailing, incentivize. Say, for example, I went on a mobile phone website and I just bought the latest fancy phone. I want to brag about it. I want to tell my friends. Why not put a little embeddable code that already tells everyone how awesome this phone is? Copy that code, paste it on your blog or website, show everyone. There's a link at the bottom linking to the site that sold the device. Share victories. If you've had a recently purchased product, share that excitement with everyone else. So customer testimonials, also a great way to get links. Write positive review on something. If you're a user of somebody's service, if they're providing, say for example, that's your hosting company, if you provide a testimonial on how good they've been to you, and you might actually end up on their testimonial page with a link back to your website. It's an excellent way to get a link. A lot of links could be placed to your website, and you might be using phrases like click here, read more, or even using the URL. Like I mentioned before, that's not as effective as having your phrase in the anchor, so try to adjust that. Might be a bit of a process, but it's definitely worth doing. Here's some search tips. For those who don't know, so the link command, the first one in the list, what it does, it gives us the list of links for linking to the website. The second one shows us the cached version of the website. The command site actually shows us all the pages on one website. And the site URL and then search term actually searches through that site only. So if you're wanting to search for Dan on dejan.com.au, that's the format that you'll be using. Why am I showing you this? Is because you can use these advanced search operators to find great link opportunities for your business. All in URL. If you type in all in URL and then gardening, you'll find all the websites that have gardening in their URL. All in title, we'll search through the title tag. For example, you might search for cheap Java books. What this command does, you're searching for cheap, and then Java books is an exact phrase because it's in the quotes, and it's excluding because Java books, it could be coffee, it could be programming language, and it could be an island. So in this example, we want to find coffee books. And with the minus command, we're actually isolating, we're removing the search terms island and programming. So have a look through this advanced search operators and it'll help you find great link opportunities. How should an ideal link placement look like? As the top example is a good example and the bottom example is a bad one. So if you have a look, let's imagine you've just formed a partnership with a company and you've given them some content to host on their website. You've got an image of your company. There's a little alt tag, little description tag that contains your company name or what you do. There's the page heading, a bit of content. And notice how this content is surrounding these links. These links are now a lot more potent than the links that might be found on the footer of somebody's website. Look at these links at the bottom. Buy Viagra, payday loans, online casino, tramadol, fake handbags. You see a lot of this. This is spam. These people are getting links in the footers and link exchanges, and it's all happening in a very dodgy way. You don't want to be part of this scheme. So you want to get good quality links, much like the ones on the top, linking through your phrases rather than being a dry link at the bottom of someone's website or on the side. We've been talking about a few link building tips here. Here's one example. Quality links versus low quality links. So we've had a client who approached us and asked for help because they were ranking okay. They were on the 5th position for their main search term and they could not move past that point. So they hired an SEO company. They did a lot of links, did about 1,000 links and they failed. There was no movement in the results. Next couple of months after that, they've gone to another SEO company and they created about 1,000 more links and they're up with 2,000 links. It's a huge amount. So the first thing we did, we went into Google Webmasters tools. We've gone through their links and we had a look at the quality. It was appalling. It was really, really tragic. It was like blog comments, spam, forums, irrelevant directories. There was nothing really that actually makes sense. Why should these people link to you? They're a point of sale operator. So what we've done, we've found out that their software is Microsoft and Linux, Ubuntu. So we, through some clever negotiation, organized links with those people, obviously trusted and they great links. In the whole process, we took 3 months, and as part of the process, we generated 7 links. That's it. What happened next? They surfaced up as the first commercial results for point of sale. The true first result is Wikipedia, but we couldn't help that. We're working on that now. So that just gives you a little bit of insight as to how quality can overload the quantity of links. That will be all for now, and I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Thanks, Dan. I've got one question. You talked about the anchor text, and we recently launched a new site, and on your website, it's all around getting the customer or the prospect to create action, right? So that is whether they, to sign up for a demo or a trial or contact their organization. You mentioned anchor text and using call to actions. So, for example, instead of using click here, use about us or whatever it was that you mentioned. Can you just dive into that a little bit more in sort of your experience on what are some of the, I guess, hot action words that people can use in anchor text?
Click here is not particularly good call to action term. It's just it's almost like you expect click here to just lead you for more information. You already know what that is. There are better call to action. Best, buy, cheap, whatever you're trying to. If you're positioning yourself as best, you should always use that type of term. That, in fact, is not really getting in the way of your rankings, because you're not supposed to only be using that one anchor text to link to your website. And this has been mentioned before. You should use a variety. So if you're wanting people to be encouraged to link, to click through to that link, not just for SEO reasons, but also for traffic purposes, you can safely say, affordable hosting solutions, or affordable hosting, or discount codes for hosting. You can mix it up as much as you like, and that's still carrying a lot of value. If you do have a few links with click here, and the webmaster doesn't want to change it, don't go swearing at them or anything like that. It's there's many other things that you can do. In fact, if you do single anchor text. For example, if you do, one example was mentioned, life insurance, in fact. If you just do life insurance, life insurance, life insurance, and that's the only anchor text you have, that's going to look a little bit suspicious to search engines. And they will start thinking, has this been manufactured? Is this artificial? So you want to do a lot more variety in the anchor text, and by all means using the action keywords, because they're quite effective. In fact, we had a recent success with that particular search term. In fact, if you type in life insurance, one of our clients is at the top one, first result or second or so.
And what's the latest stat these days on how many people don't click to page 2? So that what's the importance of being on page 1, I guess, and link 1 and 2?
People will really only go to page 2 if they're not happy with what they're seeing on the page 1. Okay. In fact, what we're noticing with the results is really the top 5, in fact top 3 that are picking up most of the traffic. The rest is like starting to go to some minimal breakdowns. If you're talking about a search term that carries a lot of volume, if you're targeting search term like mortgages Sydney, there's a lot of search terms for that. So even if you're result number 10, you're still going to get some traffic through that. But if you're like result 12, perhaps you should start going towards the suburb level. Don't always focus on the single search term. Just diversify and try to cover as many as possible. One great way to do that is to develop a lot of content on your website, content that's useful and people want to link to as well.
And I guess just quickly on that, content, and Google obviously looks at how often you refresh your content. Do you know sort of how often, like if I'm updating my site twice a week versus 7 days a week, is that gonna what's the level of impact?
This is one of my favorite examples of misconception. In fact, if you frequently update your website, what that means that you frequently update your website. That's it. If you add one page per week or one page every 2 hours, that will tell Google that you've got more new content coming in every so often. If you don't update,
it doesn't have any direct correlation to your ranking.
This goes a little bit more into advanced stuff, but for example, one element called Query Deserves Freshness, or QDF, is something that affects whether your website should be regularly updated. If you're a news website and you haven't updated your homepage in 2 months, something wrong with it, and Google's probably not going to put it in results. So, but if you're a resource and you have a history of Alexander the Great, how often will that fact change in there? Unless some archaeologist comes up with some news and goes, oh, actually that wasn't his name was Martin. So there's 2 types of websites. One that should be updated regularly. If your website does not need to be updated regularly, don't get obsessed with adding fresh content. If you do add fresh content every so often, that will prompt search engines to come and visit it more often. That's the effect that it has.
Fantastic. Do we have any other questions from the audience? Anyone have a burning question that they need answered? No? Well, thank you. That was a fantastic presentation, some great insights there, and I've certainly written 3 down for myself. So thanks very much.
Thank you.